Children who lack sleep may experience detrimental impact on brain and cognitive development that persists over time. Research finds getting less than 9 hours of sleep nightly associated with cognitive difficulties, mental problems, and less gray matter in certain brain regions. Honestly struggled to get more than 6 hours of sleep a night as an adult in his 30s. When I was kid though, could sleep for days even after napping in the afternoon. From age 12 to 25, I only slept 3 hours a night due to undiagnosed ad and oct. Life is incredibly hard when you can't sleep. At 25, I am finally able to sleep 8 hours a night. I experienced the same until I finished school at 18. Wouldn't wish it even on me worst enemy. Glad you can finally sleep. Can I ask you what helped? School should start at 9. 0 am no earlier. Removed. Removed. I know I was. I had decent grades in school, but I would fall asleep during class because I have sleep issues that were untreated. Instead of anyone finding a real solution, teachers would complain to me parents and they would get mad at me and put me to bed earlier. Of course, that didn't solve anything because I couldn't actually get good sleep anyway. Bromy teacher would let me sleep in class. When I lived with me grandma, she would wake me up at 4:30 am and make me be out for the bus at 6:10 when the bus didn't get there till 7:05 am. Hell, I almost been kidnapped waiting for the bus because it was pitch black and I was sleeping on the sidewalk. I had a teacher who used to draw on kids' faces if they fell asleep in class. I'm a sensitive sleeper, so she always got mad when I woke up before she could tag me. She did get me once, though. What people don't understand about falling asleep in class is that the student often has no control over it. I was a chronic sleeper in class, and I tried everything to stay awake. Chewing gum, jiggling me leg, drinking energy drinks and coffee, not eating carbs. The only thing that would have helped me was getting more sleep the night before, which wasn't an option due to me situation. Sometimes I really do wonder where life would be for me had school started at 9 instead of 7. 30 people have consistently told me that I need to adjust me sleep schedule, but even when I was getting up at 6:30 am daily, I could adjust it. To this day, I am still super tired between the hours of like 7 and 9:30. My body wants to be asleep during these hours. I always fell asleep in me first 2 classes of the day, trying to go to bed early. I could go to bed at 10, I'd wake up at 11:30 and be wide awake till 1:30. 2:0. I let me sleepy students sleep. Another example of authoritarianism ruining everything. With only one exception. My teachers always let me sleep and they reprimanded anyone who tried to wake me. It was really nice. There are 2 types of teachers. Those who are curious and love to learn alongside their kids, and those who want to be the smartest person in the room with all of the authority. Removed. And poor sleep are often interconnected, it seems. Personally, taking stimulants has helped me sleep much better. Before, I would often be tired throughout the whole day and often nap, as well as not get much done in terms of physical activity. Now I can be active during the day and it helps me exhaust myself, so I have an easier time falling asleep. The issue is, though, that it's a type of chicken end. Don't forget about them needing to be available for after-school jobs, which they are now allowed to stay later for. To save the economy, of course. Since the pandemic, it is the first time in my life that I'm not tired all of the time. I already knew I was a morning person, but I didn't know how much impact it had on me. I've been working from home 4-5 days a week for the past 3 years and being able to sleep till 8:00 was really a game changer. It's not that kids have to get to the football field by 3. It's because mom and dad have to work 9. 5. Removed. Could be add. Maybe get tested. But I don't know. Sorry, Brove. Big Gov decided school is at 8, so we wake up at 6. So we can maybe find some time for poo in the bathroom before leaving at 7 for the 40 mins trip to get to school. Your school started at 8. Lucky bastard. Try 7M0. I'm so pissed I did band in high school. Never got enough sleep and I did terrible in school. That was the gov per se was parents. Most professional careers start in the morning, so it is most convenient for professionals with children for school to operate during those hours. Of course, what time professional work is arbitrarily chosen based when professionals want to work. By professional, I mean in a traditional white-collar sense. People who work in service or labor have to work nights and weekends. They didn't get to use public schools like their private daycare facilities. I guess doctors are crazy people, really get like 4 hours of sleep or something during medical school, but have a friend who is doctor and guy was walking around 36 hours of no sleep still functioning like normal, absolutely brutal. Medical work culture is super toxic. Does help that school starts at almost 6 am and kids wake up at 5 but have sports, jobs and homework. Removed. No wonder Emma Morin Eve struggled to sleep at an appropriate time literally my entire life. I still think schooling needs to be remodeled because it forces a lot of kids to stay up late and this impacts their sleep the most. Throughout me schooling, I was always up late studying or working on projects, especially when I was in advanced classes that required more attention. I remember as a kid, I'd always struggle to fall asleep. Every night would lay in bed for at least 3 hours before I could fall asleep. Some nights I'd see the sun start to rise by the time I'd fall asleep, then I'd be woken up 2 hours later to go to school. My parents always told me I was exaggerating, that I just needed to go and lay in bed and would fall asleep. It did help. I was horribly afraid of the dark and everything, so I'd just be in bed all night every night getting scared shitless. Everyone always wondered why I got such bad grades despite being so smart, and why I did seem to care in school, why I never had energy to do anything but play video games and maybe ride my bike to and from a friend's house. Now, whenever my parents say they can't sleep or whatever, I hit them with the just lay there, you'll fall asleep line. It's the little things. Okay, stop making high school start at 7 am then. Damn, staying up and playing all those video games made me a dumb. My stepson is almost 8 and can't sleep past 5:30 no matter what time he goes to bed. He is definitely not getting 9 hours a night and we aren't sure why he wakes up so early. Yep, that's why it's 9:44 and I'm not waking me son like me parents did. I don't remember a time in high school where I wasn't sleep deprived. Having to wake up at 6 after falling asleep at 1 had me constantly fucked up. Schools really should start anytime sooner than 9:30 if they wanted children and teenagers to develop properly. Why do scientists publishing in a top journal still have trouble with comprehending causality? These results provide population level evidence for the long evidence for lasting effect of insufficient sleep on neurocognitive development in early adolescence. These findings highlight the value of early sleep intervention to improve early adolescence long-term developmental outcomes. They always drop the hint of it being causal and dance around outright saying it, so they're not blatantly wrong. But when you use words like effect and then talk about the need for interventions, it sure as hell implies it. We have no idea whether these kids have brain alterations due to lack of sleep or if differences in brain structure, function cause the lack of sleep regulation, or a complex interplay of both. My guess is the latter, but that's what it is. A guess. Some of those areas with gray matter reduction are directly implicated in cognitive, emotional self-regulation orbitofrontal, medial prefrontal or anterior cingulate, anterior temporal cortex. Alterations in those areas would play causal roles in regulation of mood, anxiety, and stress, and we have evidence for that. Unfortunately, many children are going to have these issues. My parents and every other human in my life shamed me if I ever slept longer than 8 hours. To me it felt amazing, but society is so concerned about looking like a go-getter without practicing the healthy qualities that would make you one. So many people err under the caveman theory that we must always work hard with no rest. I'd highly recommend to read the book, Why We Sleep, written by Matthew Walker. Really well written with founded arguments, it has brought changes to my day-to-day life. He covers all aspects of the importance of sleep, brain development being one of them. Also, he very clearly elaborates on the consequences of lack of sleep, why the current school and working hours are detrimental for brain development and health in general. I haven't read this book myself, but I have come across people claiming that this book was debunked by another person. I was considering reading this book as I struggle with sleep a lot due to ODSPs, but now I'm not sure anymore. Edit. I struggled to find what people the ones that claim it is debunked were referring to, but after a quick Google of Why We Sleep debunked, I had found it again on a website from Alexei Guzzi where they listed things. I'm honestly not great at figuring out what's true, so we tend to take a sideline on it, but I thought I would mention it here. Maybe someone more knowledgeable could jump in. Children who chronically mouth-breathe at night can also experience many of these consequences. Not enough oxygen to brain as nasal breathing gives. Also, their jaws become downswung with narrow palates. So am deafs allowed to be mad at me mom for waking me up before 6 every weekday as a kid, right? A key issue not really addressed or being discussed here is the importance of downtime at the end of long days, allowing the mind not body to quiet down, process the day, make sense of things, return to a sense of calm and equilibrium, to experience the light of day fading. All this takes a couple of hours before the mind is ready to allow the body to enter REM, and then later in the sleep cycle it enters its own REM after the physical body has deeply rested. Look at all the theater shows on at night as one example. A ton of violence. And on screens as if you were there. So you are in stress mode clear up until you must retreat to the bedroom. Also, since we have artificial lights and lots of screens interfering with the brain's ability to sense night is falling and natural production of melatonin begins, we trick the brain to believing it's still day. And again we retreat to the bedroom and expect sleep to present itself. Not having prepared the mind or body for deep restorative rest after days filled with endless activities, worries, horrors. Perhaps some of the young people who are given digital devices should not be. I speak as a high school teacher who has had students tell me they have gotten 2 to 3 hours of sleep because they were on social media all night. My personal favorite, I was on FaceTime with me boyfriend. I can't sleep unless we FaceTime. Why were you up till 4 then? We were talking. If they were not so serious, I would think it was a joke. You're assuming they would be able to sleep otherwise. I grew up with mostly books, dolls, and outdoor work. My childhood was still mostly full of memories of sleepless nights, which got a lot less painful when I stopped fighting them as an adult. I mean, I would just sit in pure black night for a few hours before sneaking in a few hours before school, so just blaming technology isn't a catch-all, especially at folks. I would get in trouble for any screens after 9, would regularly stay up 4 or more hours, then up at 5. Thank God waking up early regularly was only during school years. The long-term effects of technology are coming to light, and technology like our phones or social media are so complex in how they affect us and how much we need it to survive in this job market and to even understand pop culture and function socially as a young person that it's become almost equivalent to coffee addiction or weed addiction, self-medicating, filling a void, seeking stimulation from an absent life, seemingly harmless in the long run because lack thereof maybe it's just like any other vice where moderation is key, but when technology is needed for everything from work to entertainment to school to socializing, can we really afford to cut back our use?